Hi, it's me Zezri, back again after a month of being gone. I went on vacation. Part of the reason why I decided to take such a long break off of YouTube is because I've been stressed about something and I need your help. And this is very important because it may affect the survival of my channel, and if you care about this channel and if you want to continue seeing my videos, I beg of you to help me. If you've been following my Instagram, you may have seen this post. If you haven't been following my Instagram, go do it now. But I'll explain to you what this means. So basically, I have been eligible for monetization 4 months ago, which means that I started making actual money. Give me money. And if you don't know, in order to make money off of YouTube, you need to have a Google AdSense account, which I have. And in order to take the money from the Google AdSense account, you need to verify your Google AdSense account, which I haven't yet done, even though it's been 4 months. Why? Because in order to verify your Google AdSense account, you need to receive a PIN via mail. 4 months ago, I requested for a PIN. I was told it should take 2 to 4 weeks, and so I waited. Longer than that, never came. Luckily, you can request for a new PIN. So I requested again, never came. I requested a third time, never came. I requested a fourth time, and it never came. I got scared. I started doing my research. Turns out you can verify via ID. There's another way to verify your account. So I was like, hallelujah, I can get money. I tried to go verify via ID, but guess what? I can't. Why? Because Google AdSense is really dumb. So basically the issue here is when I go to verify via ID, Google AdSense tells me that my account hasn't reached the verification threshold and that they never even sent me a PIN. Even though they've sent me a PIN 4 times and my account has reached the verification threshold 4 months ago. The verification threshold, it needs to be $10 or more, and I don't want to brag, but I have well over $10 on my account that I can't access. I should contact them, shouldn't I? Yeah. So I go on the help. I try to find a way to email YouTube or Google AdSense or anything. I can't find any email. They claim that there is an email, but I have literally looked on their site for hours and I cannot find a single way to contact YouTube's management or Google AdSense in any way. And so I sent feedback. I put up a community post. I have done anything I possibly could in order to get help. No, nothing. And guess what? YouTube stopped playing my ads. On all of my videos, there's no ads anymore because it's been 4 months and I still haven't verified my Google AdSense account, but they won't let me verify my Google AdSense account, and I don't know why this is happening, but this could affect the survival of my channel. And if you care about my content, I really need your help. Like, if you know anything, if you know how to contact Google AdSense, if you know what to do about this, if you know why this is happening, how do I verify my account? All help will be appreciated. Anyways, let's start the video.
It's okay, he already in my DM.
So, as you guys know, I'm just the biggest hater. Like, remember when I hated on that cute, loving couple? I mean, sure, one of them was 8 and the other one was like 14, but my hate was completely uncalled for. What am I gonna be hating on today? Since I just love hating so much. Today, I'm gonna be hating on fat people because I just hate them. And I work out every day and I eat healthy just to rub it into their faces. I'm kidding, I don't hate fat people, but many people on TikTok might disagree with that statement. That's right, I'm gonna be talking about TikTok, my favorite app. Should I tone it down with the sarcasm? Who cares? So if you've been on TikTok, I'm pretty sure that you know that the people of TikTok love to take a term and completely misuse it in every scenario ever. It happened with Asian fishing, it happened with toxic masculinity, and now it's happening with fatphobia. Now, just as a disclaimer before I start talking about this very controversial topic, I'm not trying to tell people what to do with their bodies because I have no right. And I have never been overweight, so I can't possibly imagine how hard it must be to be discriminated against for your weight. I'm also not a health professional. I'm just a 14-year-old kid who wants to create a discussion and share my opinions, and I think this is a really interesting subject, so take what I say with a grain of salt and let's start.
I don't feel like working out today. Maybe tomorrow.
If you go to the gym, you are fatphobic.
Many of you may have heard of the fat acceptance movement. It's a movement that's trying to destigmatize obesity, basically. This movement has undoubtedly made its way onto TikTok, which has somehow become a political app for whatever reason. Many creators on TikTok have come out to share their opinions on this matter, and this has sparked a discussion about the term fatphobia. Many people have varying understandings of this term, however. Some people say fatphobia just doesn't exist. Some people say fatphobia is if you hate fat people for being fat, and some people say that you are fatphobic if you go to the gym.
If you work out because you want your body to look a certain way, you don't care about health, you are fatphobic.
In this video, I will be reacting to TikToks about fatphobia, and I'll share my opinions about them.
Comments like these because people don't realize that fatphobia is rooted in racism and more specifically anti-blackness.
So this creator, Realistic Recovery, is quite vocal about fatphobia. In fact, almost all her videos are about it. And she even has a website where she lists all her sources that she uses to back up her arguments, which I appreciate because most people just spew random crap without any evidence to back it up. However, I do believe that her sources are rather biased and that she is taking certain things out of context, which is what most people do, but I still appreciate her listing the sources. You may know her from this notorious TikTok she made.
If you work out because you want your body to look a certain way, you don't care about health, you are fatphobic, and that's okay, we can work on it together.
So from what I understand, she's saying if you have a preference for how your body looks, you are fatphobic. I obviously disagree. If I wanted my body to look a certain way, I am not fatphobic. It's just my body, and I'm pretty sure most people agree with me considering the amount of backlash that she had gotten from this video.
If you work out because you want your body to look a certain way, you don't care about health, you are fatphobic.
Oh, yeah, I'm fat-phobic to myself. I'm not fat-phobic. I mean, you can go be fat if you want to be, but that's a personal preference, and please don't be offended because I want myself to look a certain way. Let's pick up a book, okay? Please go outside and touch grass. Get off the internet.
If you work out because you want your body to look a certain way, you don't care about health, you are fatphobic. Yeah. Why would I want to be fat?
But you know, maybe we all misunderstood her. Maybe she meant something else. So let's see what she has to say. Luckily, she made 5 videos explaining her point of view. So let's take a look at them together, shall we?
I'm not fatphobic. I don't hate fat people. I just personally don't want to be fat.
Preferences are valid, but they don't come out of nowhere. What makes you want to avoid fatness so bad? You're kidding, right? Everyone knows fat's unhealthy. They get diseases like type 2 diabetes and then die at the age of like 35. Actually, previous research failed to account for lifestyle type. Research now suggests that it's not the actual fat on your body that determines your risk for disease. It's actually the habits that you engage in on a day-to-day basis. That doesn't make sense. If fat people had healthy lifestyles, they wouldn't be fat. That would be true if we actually had control over the size of our body, but research suggests that we actually don't. And when we try to intervene and change our body size through dieting, we increase our risk for physiological disease and psychological disorders. Whatever happened to my body, my choice? I just personally like the aesthetic of lean better, and no one wants to be fat. Even fat people don't want to be fat. And why do you think that is?
So she agrees that preferences are valid.
Preferences are valid, but they don't come out of nowhere.
But if she really did believe that, she wouldn't care enough to make 5 whole videos just because people have a certain preference for the way their body looks. So deep down, she doesn't think that preferences are valid, because if she did, she wouldn't be so eager to argue against someone else's preferences. Secondly, while it's true that the way in which you live your life will affect your health, the statement that fat doesn't determine your risk for disease is completely false and also very harmful to say.
Research now suggests that it's not the actual fat on your body that determines your risk for disease.
I'm not sure what type of research she's talking about, but all the research that I've seen suggests that if you have too much fat on your body, you are at a much higher risk of getting diseases such as type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, heart disease, hypertension, gallbladder disease, dyslipidemia, osteoarthritis, stroke, and even cancer. The main reason for this is because the more fat you have, the more resistance you have to insulin, which is a hormone that regulates your metabolism. When fat gets deposited into your liver, which may happen if you have excess fat, it increases the production of glucose. So you will end up having an excess amount of glucose and a resistance to insulin, which stimulates the body cells to use the glucose as energy, which means your body will produce more insulin just to maintain a normal blood sugar level. But because of this constant stress and fat that is subjected to your islet cells, which produce your insulin, in many cases, the islet cells may start to die, which means you will not produce enough insulin, and so your blood sugar level will skyrocket, resulting in you getting type 2 diabetes. And yes, genetics also play a huge role, but excess fat certainly does put you at a higher risk of getting diseases. And that's just one disease. As I've said, there's thousands of them. She also says that research suggests that we have no control over our body weight.
That would be true if we actually had control over the size of our body, but research suggests that we actually don't.
It won't take a genius to understand that that's false. Now, she may be referring to the Setpoint weight theory, and I want to give emphasis on the word theory because I don't think that she knows what theory means. Now, the Setpoint weight theory is a theory that we have a certain set point weight that's written in our DNA, and no matter how much weight we lose or gain, we will always return to that weight. This shouldn't be presented as a fact like this girl is presenting it as, because it is a theory. And I do agree that some people are genetically meant to be heavier, some people are genetically meant to be thinner. We all have different weights that we are healthiest at. But you cannot sit here and tell me that the people who are morbidly obese are just supposed to be like that. You cannot sit here and tell me that people who are severely underweight are just supposed to be like that, because no one is supposed to be like that, and it's unhealthy. It is so harmful to spread that narrative, especially when people could be dying due to weight-related issues.
And why do you think that is? If all of a sudden fat was the beauty standard, would you still want to be thin? What's wrong with wanting to fit a beauty standard? You're wearing makeup. Anybody can wear makeup, regardless of who you are, your political ideology, your sexual orientation, your gender. Anyone can choose whether or not they want to wear makeup. But when we create a standard of beauty that is dependent on factors out of our control, that is oppressive. Oppressed? Anyone can be lean if they put in the work. I'm willing to put in the work. Why should I be punished? Because we don't get to choose thinness the same way we choose to wear makeup. When we engage in dieting activities to change the way our body looks, we increase our risk for diseases and psychological disorders. And if we don't choose thinness, we're subject to oppression. How are fat people oppressed? Pause to read. Okay, and if all that's true, I'm just avoiding that kind of treatment. What's wrong with that?
Not everyone can afford makeup, Karen. That's pretty classist of you.
Anybody can wear makeup.
I do agree 100% that we as a society put way too much importance on our appearance, and specifically way too much importance on looking thin. I did make a video about eating disorders in the past, and it's upsetting that so many people would sacrifice their health to fit into this unrealistic beauty standard. But her saying that all dieting causes psychological and physiological diseases is just not entirely true.
We increase our risk for diseases and psychological disorders.
Realistic recovery is in recovery from an eating disorder, so it may have been the case for her. From what I assume, she probably engaged in restricting behaviors in the past in order to be thinner and called it dieting, which inevitably led her to binge eat. This is sadly the case for many people. That's exactly why 95% of diets fail people. It's because the way that we view dieting is incredibly toxic. We have been sold the idea of extreme restriction as a form of dieting. So many fad diets have arisen due to social media, and they're just harmful and not sustainable at all. Dieting has become purely focused on weight loss instead of health, and so people are just searching the fastest and easiest way to lose weight instead of a more sustainable way of losing weight that's slower. It's really not healthy to lose weight really fast. Losing weight gradually has shown to have great health benefits, especially for people who are overweight. But if you participate in diets that quickly make you lose weight, you're only doing harm to your body and you are most likely to gain the weight back. This doesn't mean that diets don't work and that you shouldn't lose weight because you're just meant to be that way. It means that you should start having a less negative view on dieting and search for a more sustainable way of losing weight. She also said that fat people face oppression, and she took the liberty to list them out for us.
How are fat people oppressed? Pause to read.
Let's just take a look at all her points. The first one being discrimination when seeking medical care. I'm not American. I'm not knowledgeable about the American healthcare system. Obviously, healthcare is different in every country. So her statement may be true in America, for all I know, but I feel like if your doctor tells you to lose weight, they're not being fatphobic. You should just probably lose weight for your health. Of course, it's completely up to you if you follow through with that, but if her point is that doctors telling you to lose weight is a form of discrimination and oppression, I'd have to disagree with her. The second example she gives is that fat people have a harder time finding work. This is actually true. We as a society view fat people as lazy and incapable of doing tasks without getting tired. So when people hire, they're more biased towards thinner people because they feel like fat people won't be able to do it as good as a job. It is true that obese people do get tired faster because they constantly have to carry a lot of body weight. But the idea that overweight people are lazy is obviously a societal issue because your weight has nothing to do with your level of motivation. The third example ties with the second one. Fat people are not paid less, but they certainly do earn less than thin people. This is because they're less likely of being hired for a higher paying job. The fourth example she gives is kind of dumb in my opinion. It's not a form of oppression if you can't find clothing that fits you. Companies that make clothing are more likely to profit if they produce clothing that fits the majority sizes of people. Obese individuals aren't that common, so there's not going to be a lot of clothing made for them. I can never find skirts or shorts that fit me properly. Am I oppressed? No, it's just that I don't have that common of a body type, and so companies are not going to make specific clothing that's going to fit me. I agree that it sucks to not be able to find clothes that fit you, but I don't see it as a form of oppression personally. The final example, fat people being tormented daily. That's kind of a dramatic way of saying it, but yes, fat people face constant scrutiny for being fat, and I think that it's unfair and that it sucks and that we shouldn't judge someone for their weight because you don't know their story. It's not your place to comment on other people's bodies, and it's exactly that type of behavior that ends up fueling eating disorders. So stop.
Okay, and if fat people are actually oppressed, then what's wrong with wanting to avoid that? Obviously, no one would want that sort of treatment because you are actively supporting a beauty standard that marginalizes an entire group of people for things that are out of their control, and therefore supporting the idea that fat is bad. So your solution to fat phobia is that I should want to be fat? No. The solution is to confront our internalized fat phobia and the implicit biases that come with it, understand how fat phobia hurts both thin and fat-bodied people, acknowledge the ways in which we as individuals and the systems we live in discriminate against fat people on a day-to-day basis, and just a little sprinkle on top, we should stop fueling a multi-billion-dollar industry that profits off this baseless notion that fat is bad.
Okay, so wanting your body to look a certain way is actively supporting a system of oppression. Let people do what they want to do with their bodies. It's their body, and if you truly loved your body, you wouldn't care about other people's preferences for their bodies.
Still don't understand why going to the gym makes me fat phobic. I literally worked hard for my body. Why are you trying to shame me for it? Going to the gym does not make you fat phobic. Going to the gym so that you can look a certain way and have a certain body image does make you fat phobic because there's absolutely nothing healthy about a certain body size. No, that's just how you measure success at the gym. No, success surrounding physical fitness can be measured and should be measured by your ability to lift more, to do more reps, to run faster, to make the activities easier. When you're just focused on size, yeah, that would make me fat phobic. So now I'm a bad person and I just shouldn't work out. Fat phobia is not a derogatory term. So why bring up the point that I might be fat phobic? Because fat phobia is a social justice issue and some people want to leave this world a better place for their children. Yes, social justice issue. Didn't you call me a racist too?
If people want to measure their success by the way their body looks in the gym? They can. A lot of people go to the gym for aesthetics, and that shouldn't bother you as much as it does. A lot of people take vitamins because they want to be healthy, but again, a lot of people take vitamins because they want their hair to be soft and silky. Who cares? It doesn't matter what reasons people have. If I want to look like a Greek god, I'm gonna go to the gym and look like a freaking Greek god.
How does being fatphobic make me racist? It doesn't. Literally no one said that. Oh my god, are you kidding me? You literally said it's rooted in racism. Those are not the same thing. Even other black creators and my wife, who is a woman of color, says that you're wrong. Ignoring the fact that you think every single black person has the same level of knowledge on racism. Racism is a system of oppression based on racial prejudice and discrimination. A racist is somebody who holds beliefs and attitudes and acts in a way that supports and perpetuates racism. What the hell does racism have to do with fatphobia? Literally any race can be fat. So that we can understand where this notion fat is bad actually came from. It was used as an oppressive tool, and that is why oppression still exists for fat people today. And where's your evidence? Pause to read. That's opinion. Okay, I'm done here.
As soon as you brought race into this, I feel like it's not my place to talk because I am not black or American, and so I have limited knowledge on racial issues in America. But I do know that fat phobia exists in Asia, which is where I live, and I do know that there is no way that fat phobia could be rooted in racism in Asia. I believe that there are countless of reasons why people are fat phobic. For example, many people on TikTok are complaining that people wouldn't want to date someone who's overweight.
Oh, you're not fat phobic? Name one fat person you've had a crush on. I'm waiting.
But they fail to realize that it's more than just a preference. Humans are biologically engineered to equate health with attractiveness. We automatically find healthy looking people more attractive because biologically we are looking for someone strong and healthy enough to pass on our genes. Our brain recognizes that someone who is obese is probably not healthy enough to pass on our genes, and so we don't feel attraction to them. But you can't really just know that someone is healthy by looking at them. And that's the problem that we have nowadays. Our perception of health has been completely twisted. We have been led to believe that being shredded and lean automatically equates to health, even though for many women, being shredded is actually really unhealthy. But we have been told that looking like this is more healthy than looking like this. Also, we didn't just all wake up one day and decided that skinny people were attractive and fat people were not. There is a reason for everything. During this age specifically, it is a lot cheaper to be fat than to be thin, especially when all of the cheapest food is fast food that is literally genetically engineered in order for you to get addicted to it. To be able to exercise, you need to have the time and money to do so. So it's really no surprise that obesity is linked with poverty. And as you know, in our society, rich good, poor bad. So if the rich are skinny and fit, then that's good. But if the poor are fat, then that's bad. It's a pretty simple way of thinking, really. And that's exactly the same reason why Americans and Europeans want to be tan. It's because it's a sign of wealth. It's a sign that you can afford to go spend leisurely time at the beach in some exotic place. In sub-Saharan Africa, being fat is actually the beauty standard because they don't have enough food. So we aren't just fat phobic because it's rooted in racism. There are many reasons why being thin is the beauty standard. I think we can all agree that fat phobia is an issue, but saying that you can be healthy at every size and telling other people what they can or cannot do with their bodies is not cool. So many overweight individuals struggle with eating disorders, and by telling them that they're just fine the way they are and that they can eat whatever they want, that's not gonna solve anything. If you truly love your body, you will treat it with respect and nourish it properly and take the proper steps in order to ensure your body's health. But the problem with these fat activists is that they don't actually love their bodies. They don't actually love themselves, for that matter. Instead of saying that your body is the least interesting thing about you, or that your body is the least important thing about you, as I've heard many people say, instead, learn to appreciate that your body is keeping you alive, and you should treat it with respect because you wouldn't be here if it weren't for your body. You should love it. Thanks for watching. Bye.